Well, hello again, and today we're doing something very special, very close to my heart. It's a Moroccan street cookie, coconut macaroon cookie. And I'm sure other cultures and other countries, they have something similar to this one, but this one is very special to my heart, and I just can't find any other cookie like it. So it took me a long time to find the secret for this recipe. And this cookie have this flavor of coconuts, and it has only 3 ingredients: sugar, egg whites, and coconuts. And it's very chewy. And the secret for it, it's cooking the cookie with the sugar and egg whites before baking it. I'm going to show you the detail of this cookie. Please make it the way it is. You will love it. It's very, very addictive. So now we're going to get ourselves some good and sweetened shredded organic coconuts, and we're going to weigh the coconuts. Then we're going to add the sugar and weigh the sugar. The sugar here is very, very important for the signature of this dish, and it's quite high. There is more sugar than coconuts. Because of the sweetness of this cookie, I added a little bit of salt. It's always good to add some salt in pastry. But also I am going to grind these coconuts to get some kind of finer texture. We're not looking for the coconuts flour or coconut powder, and you have to be careful because of the oil in coconuts. You may end up with paste, so you just grind it enough to get a fine texture, but be careful. And you may use a food processor or a blender. It's up to you, and you may skip the whole step, but I recommend you to use exactly the way I did it, because you're going to be very happy. So continue grinding the coconut until you finish all of it. And as you see, this is the texture we're looking for. You may want it a little bit coarser than that or finer. It's up to you. But I prefer this texture because it allows me to have this a fine, perfect coconut cookie. So here I'm showing you the before and after, so you can see the difference in the texture before we grind it and after we grind it. Then we're going to need some egg whites. So I'm going to crack the eggs and separate them. And when I do that, when I need the egg white only or the egg yolks, I do separate them, of course, but I do freeze here, for example, the egg yolk in an ice tray container, and I can freeze them for another project. Have to weigh our egg whites. You know, in baking or in pastry in general, you do weigh everything, and I use the grams. Then we're going to mix the dry ingredients with the egg whites in a bowl. But here I have a special bowl which you can plug it, and it keep the heat at any temperature you want. I want this mixture to be around 140 degrees for a few minutes. Then when you stop, and we keep stirring until the temperature goes down to around 100 degrees Fahrenheit. But most of us, we don't have this kind of a bowl. all you have to do, you mix the same thing in a pot on the top of a stove, low heat, and you keep measuring the temperature until you get it to 140. This is the secret of this cookie, is cooking it before baking it. We're going to add some coconut extract to enhance the flavor of this cookie. So we're going to keep cooking it for a few minutes until we get to 140. Then we remove the pot from the stove, since most of us that's what we're going to do, until it gets around 100 degrees. But also we're going to keep checking the dough to make sure it's not too runny and also it's not too stiff. If it's too stiff, don't hesitate to add some egg white. Normally it's smooth, and this dough actually it's a little bit stiff, so I had to add a little bit of egg white and keep stirring until it's ready. Now we're going to remove it from the pot or from the bowl, and then we're going to shape the cookies. The texture here, it's good, and the surface of the cookie is smooth. I'm using ice cream scoop, or this is something here in the States we use to measure the cookies. Instead of weighing each cookie, we just use these ice cream scoops. They come in different sizes. So you shape them in the shape of a ball, and you space them because they do spread out. And I'm using a silicone liner. You can use a parchment paper. Use a little bit of water to smooth out the surface of the cookie so it does have a smooth surface. So keep scooping all the cookies on the baking sheet until you're done. Here's I'm going to have two different sizes. And by the way, like I'm going to say it again during this video, by the time I finish, I realized instead of using the regular sugar, I could use the powdered sugar, and the result is even better. So again, make sure to shape your cookie, roll it between your hand until you get it to a perfect ball, and use a little bit of water so the surface is really smooth. And then we're going to bake them for 20 minutes, but make sure they're completely brown. That is very important for this cookie, really dark brown. And you can see here I used the sugar, the powdered sugar, the one on the right, and the surface is smoother. So then you get this beautiful cookie which is chewy. And by the way, there was no flour, so it's gluten-free. I made two different sizes. It's up to you. You can make any size. You just leave them until it's completely cooled down. It's better to use silicone liner, if not parchment paper, but do not take them out from the liner until they're completely cooled down. A few minutes later, you remove them from the baking sheets and put them on your kitchen table. Wait until they cool down again, completely cool down, then remove them one at a time because they stick. The difference between this macaron cookie and the Parisian macaron is, well, this one has coconut instead of almond, and if not, the rest is the same, sugar and egg white, but the temperature is higher because the other one is 300 Fahrenheit degree. This one is 350, so that's why they get this brown color, and it's very important because you're going to find that caramel flavor, which is so important for this cookie. I hope you like this cookie as much as I did. One made by using the regular sugar, and this one, the powdered sugar. It has smoother surface, and I like that. From now on, I'm going to use only the powdered sugar. I have been using the regular sugar for years, and so this is another little details to make this cookie better. It's already perfect, but I want to try one for you. It's really chewy. It's like a gum. There's only 3 ingredients. And the flavor is great. It's a little bit sweet. The sugar is very important for this recipe to get that chewy texture. And I tried to reduce it. It did not work very well. So it's going to be sweet, but the texture is beautiful. Really chewy, great cookie. And if you bake it until it's brown, a little bit dark brown, then you taste that caramel flavor. This cookie has a unique look. It has those wrinkles, crackles, and I like that. And you know what to do. Subscribe to this channel, find me on the social media like Instagram, Facebook, follow me there, and ask your questions, leave your comments. I'll be happy to answer them, and I'll see you soon next time. Bye bye.